Welcome back to Media Talk. Joining me and Alex for this segment, we have Barb Rebold here, who's the Executive Director for the Pediatric Cancer Foundation. Sorry, I've got all these things in here. Welcome to our show, Barb.
Thanks for having me on.
How long have you been the Executive Director?
About 7 years. I joined the organization 8 years ago, just part-time helping them out. And
now look at you now. You're the Executive Director.
How about that?
Tell us, what is the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for people who don't know?
Well, it's a Tampa-based national nonprofit organization that raises money to fund research, trying to find new treatments and a cure for childhood cancer. And we've been around for 17 years. It was started by 2 Tampa moms who met at St. Joe's when their children were going through treatment. And fortunately, their children survived and are healthy teenagers today. But, you know, going through that, they found out how very little funding went to research. You know, there's great quality of life organizations and great dream organizations out there, but until we find a cure, those organizations will thrive.
Give us some of the statistics for childhood cancer and what type of cancer seems most prominent in the Tampa Bay area.
Well, there's about 12,500 children that are diagnosed each year with cancer, and of those, about 2,500 don't make it.
So one more time, there's 12,500
diagnosed, and about 2,500 die of the disease each year. It's the #1 killing disease in our children today here in the United States. And leukemia is the most prominent form of childhood cancer, and due to research done over the past 20, 30 years, that survival rate has gone to 80%. So, you know, that's good, but there's still 20% children who are dealing with cancers that have very little chance of survival.
Are there any symptoms, you know, if you're raising a child, is there any symptoms to kind of keep an eye out for to maybe make you aware that something might be going on with your kid? You need to get them checked out?
Well, I mean, you know, we hear all different types of stories of children that are diagnosed, whether it's, you know, my leg hurts and, you know, my neck hurts, whatever it might be. And, you know, a lot of times doctors think that it's just growing pains, but it's when it persists and it gets just overwhelming for the child that, you know, they're willing to go through more intense treatment or examination. So the types of treatment that we're focusing on are solid tumors, sarcomas, brain tumors, lymphomas, because the survival rate hasn't changed in over 20 years. So we're focusing on research to come up with some new treatments for those children, because they don't respond to the standard type of treatment, chemo and radiation. And chemo and radiation just bombards the body. So, you know, you've got a child with a small body and they're just being, you know, inundated with chemicals. We're seeing long-term effects of that over the years.
What exactly is a sarcoma?
It's a bone
It's a
cancer.
bone disease.
Now, here in Florida, I just wanted to ask, since we're in a sunshine state, a lot of people are outside more.
Right.
Is it found that kids get melanoma type of skin cancer here because they're out in the very strong sun in the heat of the day?
They do, but it's, you know, more of an adult disease.
You know, we want to talk about this month is National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. What are some of the things that the PCF has going on to raise awareness this month?
Well, we have a walk out at Fishhawk Ranch. That's September 13th in Park Square. People could go on to our website to register at fastercure.org. It's $25 per person or $100 for a team of 6. And they can pledge, ask people to raise money. We're challenging people to raise $300, and all of it goes to funding research. And then NoHo Bistro is doing a dinner where 50% of the proceeds of a ticket will go to the foundation, and that's on September 15th from 4 to 7 p.m. And then the Columbia Restaurant, throughout the month of September in all their locations, you can select a charity, and we are one of them, where 5% of the bill goes to the foundation.
What's the Sunshine Project?
Well, the Sunshine Project is a collaboration we put together about 3 years ago because researchers are doing projects in their laboratories.
Everybody's doing something, but nobody's doing it together.
Right. So we formed a collaboration called the Sunshine Project. It includes locally Moffitt and All Children's, but then University of Florida, Nemours in Jacksonville, MD Anderson, Sloan Kettering, Vanderbilt, Johns Hopkins, City of Hope. All the big institutions have come together. We funded 100%. And in 2.5 years, we have come up, or our researchers have come up with 3 new treatments for these rare forms of cancer.
That's amazing.
It's
really amazing.
It's historical. We put our first child on our first clinical trial July 28th.
What types of technologies are kind of on the bleeding edge that might be making breakthroughs in this type of cancer?
Well, you're seeing more targeted therapies. So instead of treating the whole body, we're treating the gene. So it's called gene-targeted therapy. And, you know, we're trying to get away from, we have to use the standard protocol with these children. And these are children that have tried the standard protocol and it hasn't worked. So now we're able to go to clinical trial with them with these new forms of treatment.
And they seem to be working.
Well, we've just started
July 28th.
Yeah, so it's going to take us a couple years to go through the phase 1 clinical trial. And if we make that, then we can go into phase 2.
You know, Barb, in your 7 years of being involved with PCF, surely there's been one child that has made or impacted you. Is there a story that you can share with us about one kid or somebody that touched your heart?
Sure. I can remember when I first started with the foundation, there was a little girl, Autumn, being treated at St. Joseph's Hospital, and Warren Sapp used to go visit her every Tuesday, and she used to call it her Sunshine Days. And she lost her life at 11, and she spent 6 years at St. Joseph's battling cancer, but she just never gave up hope. And Warren, you know, we saw a whole different side of Warren than the general public sees, and it was really special.
That is nice.
I'm sorry to hear about Autumn, though.
No, that is great about Warren Sapp. I never knew that about him.
Yeah. He's been a great supporter of the foundation.
If you could do a quick call to action for anybody who's watching or who's going to watch, even though next month, if they see this, it might not be Child Awareness Month, what can they do to help the Pediatric Cancer Foundation?
Well, you know, with 3 clinical trials coming up at an average cost of $12,000 per child, every dollar counts. So if they can afford $1, they can go to our website, fastercure.org, and donate right there, or they can call our office at 813-269-0955.
Or again, the URL was fastercure.org. Barb, thank you very much for coming and sharing the story.
Right, thanks for having me on and spreading the word about childhood cancer.
Let us know. I mean, we want to do something quarterly. I mean, keep coming back. When another child is going through it, maybe we can do a story on that child. Whatever we can do to help, we would love to be a part of it.
Well, I'll keep you up to date.
We are going to take our next break. As soon as Alex and I return, we'll be chatting with Sigrid Tidmord and Sid Morgan.
Tampa Bay's Media Talk is brought to you by Tampa Digital Studios. We're coming live from the Tampa Bay Brewing Company and sponsored by Creative Loafing. We'll be back in 60 seconds.